On the road to the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight from Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. The Blue Jackets and the Los Angeles Kings meet for the final time. Jackets winning the opener. Sergei Bobrovsky back between the pipes and is expected to go again tomorrow night in San Jose. He is 12-2 with a 2.04 goals against average and a .935 save percentage in his last 14 starts. And 200 feet away, a suddenly struggling Jonathan Quick. You see his record. He has been pulled from recent starts. He has struggled along with the Kings' lack of offense and back between the pipes tonight.
And one more time for Tony Schumacher. Don't forget to stop by the NHRA table.
Our officials tonight, Dan O'Rourke, Ghislaine Hebert, the referees, Jay Sherrers, Johnny Murray are the linesmen. O'Rourke will drop the puck, and we'll get this one underway. Jackets hustle out after this one on to San Jose, where they'll meet the Sharks in their final game before the Olympics. Todd Richards elects to start the Anisimov line with Foligno and Umberger. Fedor Tutin and Jack Johnson, the one-time Los Angeles King, will start on the blue line. Mike Richards will take the draw. He is flanked on the wing by Dustin Brown, the captain. And Williams on the right side, who pressures, but Jack Johnson quickly moves it ahead, and it's Umberger attempting to send it in. Kings walk in. This is Williams, moves into that slot off the leg of Fedor Tutin, who sends it off the boards, and with some good hustle there, Nick Foligno walks into the offensive zone. R.J. Umberger with a quick shot. Played here by Willie Mitchell. Tosses far side. Mitchell paired with Drew Doughty. Doughty walks to the line. Steps away from Atkinson. Sends it into Columbus territory. Quick feed. Atkinson on the line change. Moves in and rifles it high and wide of the net. Andrei Kopitar on for Atkinson. Heads up play there by Tutin to get Atkinson in home free as the Kings were caught on that line change, Bill.
Good. You get a couple of guys that know each other as well. Atkinson in all alone on Quick. He knew the tendencies, unable to put it away.
Wisniewski kicks it ahead. Play called and a hooking penalty going to be assessed here to Foley.
Well, let's take a look at that pass by Tutin. Again, he gets it up ice very quickly. Atkinson tries to spring it out, tries to go high on that stick side. But Tutin springs him. That's what the Jackets wanted to try to do. Get behind the defense early, and then you hope you can finish. Cam Atkinson, off to a pretty solid start this year, would have loved to be able to get in and make that move that he wanted.
1:04 the time of the Toffoli hooking penalty. Jackets go to the power play. They come in tonight 14th in the league, 36 for 190 at 18.9%. Kings are tied for 8th on the penalty kill, but they've allowed 5 power play goals in the last 4 games in just 13 shorthanded situations. Johansson drops it back. Jack Johnson over to Wisniewski, who sends it wide of the net. Doughty sweeps it to the corner. Kings able to clear, and hustling back here is Ryan Johansson. Johansson riding a 3-game goal scoring streak with 4 goals in the last 3 games. Johansson quickly sent to the point. Wisniewski on here to Johansson. Jack Johnson, he shoots and scores. It's a power play goal, and the Jackets are on the board here. 1 for 1 on the power play, and the Kings again have now given up 6 opposition power play goals in 14 shorthanded situations.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Jackets practice it, and they do it with speed. Watch the speed of Johansson through the neutral zone. And then he puts another burst on to beat the defenseman, goes behind the net. That allows him a little time. That creates the space. And look at that pass back, across the seam. Again, what picture-perfect power play. And then the finish by Jack Johnson to beat Jonathan Quick to make it a 1-0 game.
Jack Johnson's 4th goal of the season. 3 of them have come on the power play. And again, Jack Johnson, who since the Olympic announcement was made for Team USA, continues to show Hockey USA, just one mistake they made.
No, I tell you, you talk to the guy right now, he is so focused on what this team is doing. He doesn't want to talk about the past. He's looking forward to next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later with this hockey team.
1-0, Jackets lead. Jack Johnson, assisted by Johansson and Wisniewski, who continues to add to his point-scoring streak. Wisniewski now leading the Jackets with 19 power play points, and 17 of them are assists. Clifford with a clearing pass, kept in by Mark Letestu. Corey Trop looks for McKenzie. Trop hangs on to it. He'll get some help now from McKenzie, who circles around the net. Up high, quick shot there into Keaton. It's blocked by Kyle Clifford. Clifford steps to center. He is the subject of some trade rumors in the Los Angeles papers, perhaps being dealt to Edmonton in exchange for Sam Gagner.
I'll tell you what, Clifford is one tough character. He can play any game that you want. Big body, but they're looking for a power play specialist. That's where Gagner fits in.
They're looking for somebody who can score goals for them right now. In the last 10 games, the Kings have scored just 13 goals. They've dropped 4 in a row overall and have lost 4 straight here at Staples Center. 1 win in their last 10 games. How about the Toyota Keys presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer?
Go right away. You want to create doubt in this Los Angeles team. How? Get it started early. They've done that already with speed. And again, pushing the pace on the defense. Again, donate the body with 2 games to go. Leave it here on the ice. And then net front presence. Hey, you go to the net. You're going to be rewarded. And you had a chance to see that on that first goal. Jack Johnson on the power play backdoor. Work your way to quick. Challenge him. And again, look for a little bit of rebound because he'll give it back to you in his house.
Johansson sends it to center, hammered back in by Green, and hustling here in the corner. It'll be picked up there by David Savard. Johansson, left wing pass there for Boone Jenner. Here's Horton across the line. A wrist shot is blocked. Chopped ahead by Muzzin. King on the left wing, looks to Lewis, stepping up, stole across the line. There's Bobrovsky, and he will hold on.
Well, there's a look at Daryl Sutter. You listened to some of his comments after the game the other night against the Chicago Blackhawks. He says, right now we do have some frustrated guys. Again, the break coming up, they asked him, was it a good thing? He says, what it is. He says, you know why? It's 1 game left, and it could be our best game of the year. That's the way we look at it. We're looking ahead. We forget about what happened in the past. We've been there before.
Ryan Murray looks to the left wing boards. Nick Foligno cross ice for R.J. Umberger. Umberger and Foligno each scoring in Anaheim to start the road trip. In fact, Foligno now has a 2-game goal scoring streak with 3 goals in the last 2 games. Drop pass, there's a quick shot way off the mark. Mitchell able to keep it in. Williams out of the corner. Back up high. Mitchell, Doughty, a shot. It's blocked by Foligno. Good anticipation there by the Jackets left winger. Mitchell carries back into the zone before shoveling it off, and again it's Foligno with a defensive play. Foligno now to the offensive end of the ice. Turned around on the play. Chipped off the wall. Kopitar bounces one in wide of the net. Jackets move up ice. Carter able to pick up that loose puck. Banks it off the boards for Kopitar. Carter follows up. Deals off into the corner. Tootin there defending. Second effort on to Atkinson, who'll chip it off the wall and send it out. Regier knocks it down. Carried in by Matt Calvert. Chopped ahead by Dubinsky. Boynon on that far wing. Carter at center. Offside. How about the Elk injury report, Bill?
Well, again, the Jackets, the man games, and you look at the numbers, but boy, is it starting to dwindle down. Marian Gaborik has been skating. He, again, professed that he will not get an opportunity to go to the Olympic Games. Jared Ball back home. He has been on the ice. And the LA Kings, well, they've got perfect attendance right now. Everybody's back.
Played by Green. With a left wing feed for Clifford. Clifford will bounce it wide of the Jackets net. Nikitin quick to play. And away from Fratton. Matt Fratton trying to walk out. Savard defends, and it's on to Nikitin. circles the Blue Jackets net. The outlet pass here for Lechesky. Sent over the stick of Muzzin, who now hustles, but icing the call. Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, look forward to Miller time. Later in tonight's contest, it's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Here's a look at David Savard, playing some solid hockey, getting back after that virus that went through his body. Again, it has been through the entire team. And even the two broadcasters as we talk tonight, Jeff, but hey, game ready.
Absolutely. Left wing feed at center there for King. Jackets break that up. Keaton takes the pass from Savard on to Johansson here on the right wing. Johansson continues a point-scoring streak with that assist on the Johnson power play goal. Offside, the call there. And as we go to break, Jackets celebrate early here in Los Angeles. They lead 1-0 on the power play goal by Jack Johnson.
Back to the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. You had a chance to take a look. The Jackets up 1-0 here to start period number 1, and you go back to one of the deepest drafts in the National Hockey League history, and you go down the line. Nathan Horton, 3rd overall pick. You go 1, 2, 3. Who was it? It was Fleury with Pittsburgh, Eric Stahl with Carolina. Nathan Horton was number 3, and you had the cast of others from the LA Kings. And we had a chance to play against two guys the other night who were certainly key in that draft as well. And that's Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry with the Anaheim Ducks.
James Wisniewski from the draw. Chips it off the boards. Umberger able to sweep it in. Stoll drops it back. Doughty, right wing. Puck flipped to center. Jackets come right back with it. Anisimov looking there for Foligno. Pass a little off the mark, and Doughty circles the net on to Trevor Lewis, right wing to center. Lewis to the Jackets line. Wisniewski sweeps it back out, and Anisimov will hammer it off the wall and up into the crowd.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, the official insurance provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. And remember, Nationwide is on your side.
Jackets have dominated here in the face-off circle. They have won 7 of the 8 face-offs to start this hockey game. Dubinsky makes it 9-1.
You look at the LA Kings, Jeff, number 1 in the National Hockey League. The Jackets in the top 10.
Dubinsky battling below that goal line. Some help here from Matt Calvert. Atkinson poised and ready top of the circle as Jack Johnson sends one in on Quick, who's down, and he'll cover up.
Well, fans, the All-Star Passport is the best way to guarantee tickets for the 2015 NHL All-Star Weekend. Lock in your seats to see hockey's biggest stars, and you can do that right now. You'll enjoy 6 games of your choice at preferred pricing this season, and the best seats at the best prices for a quarter, half, or full season plan next season. For details, go to BlueJackets.com today.
Face off from the draw. Johansson reaching for it. Sweeps it behind the net. Jenner in pursuit. Quick comes out of the net to play it. Along the boards. Jackets battle. Horton able to keep it in momentarily. Second effort. And it's offside. Horton arguing that one.
Well, before the Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Hey, let's go places.
Johansson winning another face-off here for Columbus. Green, Carter, Kopitar, and Carter get wires crossed, and Johansson walking to the net. Quick had to be sharp there. Puck played along the wall. Jackets looking to win another board battle here. And it's Tootin on for Jack Johnson.
Well, Jeff, one area of the game the Jackets have done their takeaways in the last 5 games have been outstanding. They've been around the puck. They've been able to create their own space by going in, checking with their feet.
Jackets with a scramble in front. Horton knocked down. And the Kings move up ice 3-on-2. Williams with Doughty, who's joined the rush, and Trevor Lewis. But the Jackets able to thwart that attempt, and now here at center, waiting for that loose puck for a drop, and it's called on the offside.
Let's take a look again. The Jackets on the forecheck, and who is it? Well, it's Jenner. Then look at the reach by Johansson. He has been doing that the second half of this first part of the season by basically keeping his legs going and utilizing what he has, and what he has best is the size, the length of that stick, and right there, a nice takeaway.
David Savard rips it in to Los Angeles territory. Voinov tried to get a stick on it. Nolan does. Drops it back for Voinov. In the corner, Regeer. Outlet pass on the left wing there for Clifford, who stood up at center by Savard. McKenzie tried to knock it out of the air. Kings gain the zone. This is Nolan. Pulls it off into the corner. Jackets, right side. Corey Trout steps to center. Regeer defends. Trout dumps deep in the zone. McKenzie all over Nolan. Regeer able to fish that puck free and away from Corey Trout. Outlet pass for Clifford. Unable to handle it. Savard sends it off Clifford's second attempt, and the Jackets steer it into Los Angeles territory.
Nice job by the defense of the Blue Jackets. Get up into that neutral zone. Take away that gap.
Bouncing puck sails wide of the Columbus net. Approaching the midway point of this opening period, Jackets lead 1-0. He joined us late on the power play goal by Jack Johnson, his fourth, and 3 of the 4 have come. Now the Jackets employed a power play. Artem Anisimov. Colino. And play called as the puck was gloved ahead, so the faceoff will come back in Los Angeles territory. And Artem Anisimov, Bill, one of 4 Blue Jackets that will be winging their way Sunday from Newark, New Jersey, and on to their home country of Russia, specifically Sochi, to represent Team Russia in the upcoming Olympics.
Yeah, we had a chance to sit down with Artem when we got back from Anaheim and got rested into the hotel here in L.A. Just sitting down, chatting with him, and talking about the experiences ahead. He is so proud to be representing his country. Mom and Dad are going to get an opportunity to be there, and again, we wish him all the best.
Atkinson behind the net. Calvert fights for position in front. Atkinson spins, turns. It's off the leg of Muzzin. Calvert tripped up. No call. Rimmed around the wall. There's Murray onto Atkinson in the slot. Ricochets off a leg and wide. Matt Calvert looking for Dubinsky. Green tosses to the far side. Lewis and Murray come together. Jackets, good work up high, able to keep it in. Dubinsky slides it back into the corner. Muzzin on here for Green. Calvert battles in front of the LA bench. And the puck flipped high. And now the Jackets gain the zone with Johansson letting one fly off the shoulder of Quick. And it bounced off Mitchell and just wide of that net.
The Jackets are able to make that line change, and that frees up Johansson to get a great opportunity.
Great first period here. Most of it has been played in Los Angeles territory.
This is a confident team. The 2 days that they had off, you looked in the lobby of the hotel. What did you see? You seen a blanket of Blue Jacket players all together. Not 1 or 2, but the whole team.
Up on that left wing, Toffoli with a shot. He sails it high and wide of the net. Toffoli's been up and down. He was sent down in January when the Kings made it to Columbus. Got off to a great start. 9 goals in the first 22 he has, but 1 in the last 16. Regeer back into his own end. Off the stick of Leicester. Played by Williams. Doughty backpedaling away from McKenzie. Bouncing puck played by Regeer. Little miscue there and lack of communication on the part of the Kings in their own end.
Well, this is the mantra right now. This is exactly the identity that the Columbus Blue Jackets want to be. That is on the puck. That is tenacious. Don't quick. Stop and start. And that's what you've had a chance to watch here just 12 minutes into this hockey game.
Corey Trout dumps in. Quick will slide it along the wall. It's Regeer, left wing for the captain, Brown. Down the left wing to center. Brown. On that far side, R.J. Umberton. Puck played here by Savard for Nikita. 8 minutes left. Opening period. Muzzin backhands deep. Clifford in pursuit. Savard takes the hit. And it's Anisimov. Walking into the zone with Foligno. Quick, able to turn that one aside. Didn't look too confident in doing it.
Well, the last 4 or 5 shots on
Look
net.
at that. And there's a nice stop right there. A glove stop by Quick on the edge of the goal crease. This one stays 1-0.
There's a look at Cam Atkinson and again Jonathan Quick. The last time we had these two guys together, we talked about their history and their past playing midget hockey and at Avon Old Farms out in Connecticut. Both from Greenwich, Connecticut. Both have basically embraced a 10-year friendship. And the deal is, on the road, the home team buys. Last night, it was Jonathan's turn. Cam and Jonathan, again, they go back, they train together. But I'll tell you what, you talk to each and every one of them, respectful of each other in the positions that they play.
Jackets have now won 12 of 14 faceoffs here. Matt Calvert. Atkinson. Able to get away. Atkinson. Tried to shovel a backhand to Wisniewski. The zone is cleared as Atkinson finished his check there on Toffoli. Wisniewski, left wing feed for Matt Calvert. Doughty holding him off as the puck sails wide of the LA net. Toffoli dropping it back. Jackets come up with it. Kings just look a little disorganized in their own zone, Bill.
Well, they do. But again, you better give the Jackets a little credit. What about the work ethic out there of this line? They look at each other, and it just begins to happen. And you're right. You can frustrate the LA Kings, a team having a tough time scoring, but you do it with the forecheck and the skate.
6:45 left. Nathan Horton battles along the boards. Murray gets it free to Wisniewski. James Wisniewski back on the ice. Having not practiced since last Saturday night when the Jackets defeated the Florida Panthers. Blocked a shot, but continues to play.
Well, watch the Blue Jackets in style, a Nationwide Arena luxury suite. Entertaining in a suite. It means the finest in personalized service, comfortable seating, ample meeting space, and privacy. For more information, contact the Blue Jackets Group event specialist at 614-246-PUCK or visit bluejackets.com.
Jackets back on the power play. Los Angeles, too many men on the ice. So the Jackets now, having scored on their first power play, get another opportunity to add to the 1-0 lead. Bouncing puck cleared by Mitchell to length of the ice.
It's good to see that power play. 1 point in this season. They were about 28th. Moved up, and they'll continue to climb, and right now currently in the top 15.
Quick out of the net. Mitchell clears it off the glass, and once again back into Columbus territory.
Now, the one thing that they want to be able to do is get up the ice with speed. So when they hit that opposing blue line, they've got support, as well as they've got the ability to get in and pick up the puck just like that.
Jackets, Jack Johnson, the goal scorer on the previous power play. Wisniewski missed firing there, went off the heel of a stick. Race for the puck. Lewis. Pressured there by Wisniewski. Matt Calvert. 13:29, the time of the too many men on the ice penalty assessed to Los Angeles, and the crowd here trying to encourage the Kings.
It was a late arriving crowd, and now when you look around, they continue a sellout streak right now of 96. That includes playoffs.
Atkinson. Fetter 2. Jackets of 8 of the 10 shots have officially been registered. Centering pass, Atkinson with a backhand that sails wide of the net. Keaton steps up. Dubinsky cross ice. Tootin lets one fly off the inside of the goalpost.
You're going to have to replace that puck. Boy, that thing hit it right on.
Right off the inside of the post. We'll get a look at it here on a whistle. But from this vantage point, it looked like it went off the inside of the goalpost. And offside the call, and now we will sit back here and get a look at it.
Well, what the Jackets did, we talked about it, come through that neutral zone, get the puck deep, get it right back out to the defense again, cross-ice pass, and here, right from your living room, you get a chance to see, boy, I'll tell you, it goes right back out the other side, the inside part of that glove side post. And that was Chyman.
Jackets win yet another draw. Jack Johnson hammers it in. Jenner, Johansson, and Nathan Horton. Short-handed. Out of the box. Now Fratton with a shot. Johansson for Johnson. Jack Johnson crossing the line. A little extra motivation in his game here tonight, facing his old team. Tooten, one-timer there by Johansson, sails wide of the net. Horton quickly on it. Nathan Horton knocked down, protects that puck, gets back on his feet. There is an NHL play right there.
You want to believe it. You don't teach anybody that.
Right side, Tooten finishing the check on Fratton. Kopitar trying to dig it free in the corner. Jack Johnson not giving him much room. Johansson will play it. Head up, Johansson walks to the line. The Jackets contend here now on dumping in and changing things up. Less than 4 minutes left in this opening period. Kopitar to the line. Foligno, good work to keep it in. No, they say it was offside. And as we go to break, one more look. Jackets, Tooten rifling at home, but right off the inside of the pipe.
It's 1-0 in Los Angeles. Another strong start. Craig Hartsburg, what's behind it in your estimation?
Well, we're executing pretty well. We're skating. And, again, I think we have real good structure right now.
Talk about how important it is to keep this momentum going that started in Anaheim and has continued through this first period here.
Well, we're playing 3 great teams on this trip, so if you let off for a minute, they're going to take advantage. So far tonight, we've been real good, but we've got a lot of hockey left.
Well, and what you like to see is you put a little doubt in LA's mind. You see it in the face-off department right now on the scoreboard, and then in that offensive zone, the Jackets have been right on top of the puck.
Play in the corner, up along the wall. Brown able to chip it off the boards. Williams looking for a little open space, but good defensive job there by Ryan Murray.
Well, good angle coming in. He had a position on Williams and basically fell for it.
Dustin Brown fires it off the netting and out of play.
Now, that's what you like to see. Again, you've got a guy like Ryan Murray being able to do his job, but then you've got the experience of a guy like Brown. Every time he steps onto the ice, he will represent Team USA, and this week was anointed an assistant captain's position with that team. And tell you what, he is one guy, when he comes to play, and one of the top forwards when it comes to physicality and hits. He's in the top 5.
Right now, one of several struggling forwards on this Los Angeles hockey club. Offensively. Savard tipped by Dubinsky to the left wing in full flight. Here comes Calvert. Atkinson goes towards the net as the puck is fired off the mark. Dubinsky pressured by a pair of Kings. Calvert with a centering feed looking for Atkinson in the slot. Rolling puck kept in. And on the fly, why, Quick comes out with Dubinsky right on that doorstep.
Well, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, what do the current Blue Jackets have in common with last year's team? Recap college football's National Signing Day and find out the hot topics from last night's Ringside Chat. Get complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com.
Johansson line out there. And the face-off to the right of Quick. Johansson wins another draw. There's Tooten sending it off the boards. Doughty gets to it ahead of Boone Jenner, who doesn't give up on it. Jenner keeps the feet moving, gets away from Doughty. Another board battle won by the Blue Jackets. Cycling out here is Horton. Horton throws it behind the net. Stoll is there. Jack Johnson steps up. Out to center, Tooten. On for Horton. Horton gets it ahead. Jenner's shot blocked by Quick, who had the angle. Got the glove on it, and there's no further play. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of the broadcast without the express written consent of the Columbus Blue Jackets is expressly prohibited.
Now currently with a goal and 3 assists in the last 3 hockey games, and he just does not quit. He talked about the board battles, Jeff, and how he keeps it low below that goal line, and then he continues to work. And then communication comes in from his centerman and in Horton on that other side, as well as the availability of the defense. Nice job by that line.
Keaton from yet another Blue Jacket face-off win. The shot was blocked. Brown comes in. Brown Right-handed shot on that left wing, held in check, thrown to the ice, and that's a penalty. Savard will go off. And a holding call assessed here against the Blue Jackets, which will give Los Angeles their first power play of the night.
Well, he did an excellent job. Ghislaine Hebert makes that call, but he did a nice job with Brown as he came in across the line, watched the gap, takes away the time, takes away the space, and then once he lets go, and that free hand with the stick, that's an automatic call, but initially I thought he was in great position.
Kings but one quality scoring chance in this opening period, but now will employ the power play. They're 28th in the league, 14%. Gowdy will let it fly, and that's off the shoulder of Bobrovsky. Kopitar in the corner, sends it in front. Carter denied. Loose puck. Bobrovsky had it, but then moved, and now he's trying to move Carter out from in front of him.
Well, Carter had his stick right in the pads. He was trying to get back into the net and unable. Now he's flexing his left knee. Let's keep our eye on Sergei Bobrovsky. Well, he was tied up with Carter.
Kings move in. Offside.
Well, let's take a look at that last play. And watch Carter down in front of the net. Watch him again. Carter tries to go back and go 5-hole, but look at where the stick is. Right in the legs of Bobrovsky, and Carter pulls him out. Pulls him right out of the net. He tried to go 5-hole. Look at the position of Carter's stick, where it is, between the legs, and then he continues to pull him out. Now, that isn't goaltender interference after the fact. Drop the stick, if that be the case.
Richards for Brown. Richards turns it over. Good work there by Murray. Murray steps to center and then drives it right in on quick. Less than a minute to go in this opening period. Power play. Now 1 minute remaining as Stoll comes in. Flips to the corner. Wisniewski defends. Fights off the check there of Stoll. Kings pressure. Loose puck sent to the point. Unable to keep it in. Richards just could not get there. Williams trying to hold off R.J. Umberger. Richards gets it back. Heads ahead here to Kopitar. And too many men on the ice going to be called here. Jackets, I believe, are going to be called for too many men.
Look at Daryl Sutter. He thought it was his bench. He really
it is
did.
His bench.
He really, and he thought, because he was shaking his head, and you can see again the bench minor going towards the LA Kings. As soon as you had a chance to see that facial expression of Daryl Sutter, you knew it was going to be a King penalty.
1932.
Well, let's take a look and see the numbers and what we have. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back the other side.
So 4-on-4 hockey, final 20 seconds. The second bench minor for too many men for the Kings. Kopitar draped all over Fedor-Tutin. In front, Atkinson just steered it wide on that pass from Jack Johnson, who gets it back. Kings come up with it, send it off the boards, and that'll do it. First period comes to an end. Jackets outshoot LA 10-2 and outscore them 1-0 on the power play goal by Jack Johnson. After one period of play here in Los Angeles, it's the Blue Jackets 1, the Kings no score. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and electricity costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. By Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Find a local agent on Nationwide.com. By your Central Ohio Toyota dealer. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Huntington. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at BlueJacketsBanking.com. And we are all but set for second period play. Jack Johnson, the goal scorer. in that opening period on the power play. Right now, 4-on-4 hockey for the next 11 seconds, and then the Blue Jackets will have a minute 22 of a power play with the second bench minor for too many men assessed to the Kings. It's interesting to note that prior to tonight, the Kings were only assessed one minor for too many men all season long. And they doubled that in one period. And the Jackets are now on that power play. Quick out of the net. Played by Mitchell, and he'll send it the length of the ice. Bobrovsky leaves for Wisniewski. Tripped up there. Gets back on his feet. Left wing feed. This is Anisimov walking into the zone onto Nathan Horton. Horton sweeps it off into the corner. Anisimov. Bump. Stepping up Jack Johnson. Johnson trying to feed Johansson, and does. Johansson rips it off Anisimov. It's sent to the point and out.
How about that release by Johansson? Boy, his quickness is right there. The skating as well as the shot.
He was 6-0 in faceoffs in that opening period, and he's tripped up here by Carter. Up high, Jack Johnson. Wisniewski lets one fly. Cruising in front, loose puck. Horton trying to dig it free. This one sent over the stick of the former King, Jack Johnson, and he'll come back to retrieve as both teams change up on the fly.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Horton paid the price down in front of that net. He got a stick in the face. He was able to get off the ice, but he's okay.
Puck hammered in by Wisniewski. Dubinsky in the corner pressures. 10 seconds remain in the Jackets' power play. Dubinsky tripped up. Jackets send it back to Jack Johnson. Quick shot there by Tutin off a leg and wide. 1 second left. Out steps Williams, who is serving the penalty. Calvert throws it into the slot. Richards with a clearing pass to the right wing that Tutin steps in front of. Jackets move it up, out to center. Carter dumps right back in, and Nikitin will hustle to it.
Both teams in the second period, their numbers are not great. So again, you got to be aware of your line changes. And again, watch the forwards trying to get behind the defense.
Brown added poke check. 3 by Foligno, 1-on-3. Now waits for reinforcements. Off Umberger, and away goes Williams. Dances through the neutral zone. Long shot sails wide of the net. Played by Bobrovsky himself. Sends it to the wall. Umberger reaching for it. Played at the point there by Voinov. On for Muzzin. And it's wide. Williams cycles out. Net has been dislodged. Play has been called. Well, how about the IGS Energy performers through 20 minutes of play? And, of course, Jack Johnson with a power play goal. And what about Johansson?
Well, he did. Again, another super period. You talked about his faceoffs, and, again, didn't lose one in the entire period. I thought his legs were moving. Just talked about his hands and how quick they are, not only in the pass, but also in the shot. And the recipient, Jack Johnson, on that back door. And you mentioned it, Jeff, before this game started tonight, on just basically how focused he is and what a leader he has become.
Now, a great story tonight in that game in Montreal between Vancouver and the Canadiens. And I don't think, Bill, I've ever heard of this before, but 2 penalty shots awarded to Pacioretty within 2 minutes of the same period tonight. He failed to score on either one, but the footnote is he still managed a hat trick, the final goal into an empty net.
Is that not unbelievable? Copy that one down for the ages. Max Pacioretty, one of the quickest players in the National Hockey League.
A 3-goal performance tonight in Montreal. He could have had 5 if he was successful on the 2 penalty shots that were literally less than 2 minutes apart. James Wisniewski back in his own zone. Up on that left wing. McKenzie circling the net. Trop was knocked down. McKenzie hangs onto the puck, throws it up high here to Ryan Murray. There's deflected over top of the net. Penalty upcoming. Another penalty here against Los Angeles, or is it? They're going to call interference here. And it will be Dubinsky who gets the gate.
Columbus number 17, minor penalty, interference on the goaltender.
Interference on the goaltender, quick.
Well, let's take a look. Again, the Jackets did exactly what they wanted to do. They worked in that offensive zone. They gained great position. Well, he's about 5 or 6 feet beyond, but again, I guess the idea, did he intend to try and stop? Dubinsky ended up running into him. Minor penalty called.
Goaltender interference. Kings' first power play. was abbreviated due to that second minor for too many men on the ice. Carter, pressure, up along the wall. Jackets, shorthanded. Johansson, Voinov, back along with Muzzin, and great work by Johansson. He walks it back to his side of center before sending it back to Jack Johnson, who in turn dumps back into LA territory. Doughty hits Kopitar on the fly, pulls up on that half board. Andrei Kopitar on for Doughty. Doughty, one-timer top of the circle by Voinov, the right-handed shot on the left point, but he fires it wide. Now Doughty lets it go. Two right-handed shots on the point on the power play. Voinov and Doughty, who can both let it fly.
Yeah, they're missing Alex Martinez, just coming back after an injury. He's available tonight. He's a left-handed shot that can fire it as well.
Doughty dances away from Calvert, hammers it in. The other night in Anaheim, the Blue Jackets blocked 8 of Cam Fowler's shots. Tonight, Doughty with really only one attempt in that first period, but it was blocked. Wrap around and sent just wide of the net as they jam around Bobrovsky. Play has been whistled down. And Bobrovsky's left pad able to hold that puck from crossing the line.
That was unbelievable. Again, take a look at that left pad. And they come around, and that is wide open. And then in a good, quick motion, and again, flush to the ice. Look at the skate. Look at the puck right on the post. And then a good job defensively. As soon as it slides across, watch Anisimov and his positioning on Williams, as well as Jack Johnson. You'd be able to, again, take away the space in front of that net, but it was all Bobrovsky on that left pad save.
Great work. From the faceoff, Kings win the draw. Their power play now down to 30 seconds. Williams had it hop over his stick. Jackets chop it ahead. McKenzie's attempt to sweep it out of the zone fails. He throws it to the right wing. Doughty steps up. Knight knocked down there by Murray, and then a high hit. Dustin Brown comes in high on Murray and threw him to the ice.
Well, let's take a look exactly, and I'll tell you what. Dustin Brown, one of the heaviest hitters in the National Hockey League, and that was right at that head. You watch Murray, he is going down when Brown gets the arms up. Again, elbows are tucked, but I'll tell you what, Ryan Murray took that into that head area.
Oh boy is right. That's an elbow, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, it looked like he closed it inside, but here's another view of it. Yes, that's all elbow.
And he left his feet. Now, Todd Richards is arguing over at the Blue Jackets bench that it should be a 5-minute major and he should be tossed from the game. And you know what? I agree.
I agree with you totally as well, Jeff. Again, when you see it,
he targeted the head.
He loaded up on him.
And left his feet. One more look at it. And this is our best look. And you can see here now.
Watch the feet. Watch the elbow. Right here. Feet are off the ground. Following through. And target with the elbow.
Richards still upset. Jack Johnson rips it wide. Wisniewski at the right point. Puck thrown in front. Knocked down was Horton. He's back up. Far side of the ice. Out steps Dubinsky. Jackets on a power play once more. Horton had it knocked away. Kopitar. Short-handed. Walks into the zone. Fights off the hit there from Dubinsky. Jackets will walk out. Wisniewski, Johansson. Dubinsky cruising up high. Kings have cleared. Jack Johnson across the line, hands it to Horton. Nathan Horton now moving. Drops it back for Wisniewski. Johansson on the half wall. Showing patience. Between the legs, pass there. Horton And the backdoor play of Wisniewski did not miss by much.
No, I'll tell you what a pass it was right on the tape. And it hit something. Somebody got a stick on it.
Lewis short-handed, walking in. Kick save. And a dandy. Bobrovsky will settle it down. Jackets looking at 40 seconds of power play time. A no-look between the legs pass by Horton, looking for that backdoor play for Wisniewski. It did not miss by much.
It looked like it deflected somehow, but what a play. They set it up the way they wanted. The back door was open. Right now, the Jackets, again, 23 seconds. They got time for another rush, and then they've got to get back to work again.
Better too. Dumping in, quick out of the net to play. Brings it around the wall. Kings seconds away from being back to full strength. Dustin Brown stands at the penalty bench and walks out. Nikitin knocked down. That pass. Carter moves in. On to Richards. There's Bobrovsky with the stop. As we go to break, one more look. That's that skilled play here by Nathan Horton. Between the legs, no look. Looking for Wisniewski and that back door.
10, college hockey. On the right, Matt Fratton. On the left, Cam Atkinson. Both of them finalists for the respected schools for the Hobey Baker. Again, Cam was at Boston College, and Matt Fratton played for North Dakota. The winner that year, it was Andy Mealy out of Miami University. But these three, again, were the hockey finalists for the, it's the Heisman of hockey. That is the Hobey Baker going to Andy Mealy.
Face off to the right of Bobrovsky, and from the draw, Jackets shovel it up and out as Calvert now walks it to center after taking the Atkinson pass, trying to move around Voynov. Atkinson finishing his check in the corner there on Regier. Brown left wing. Dustin Brown trying to pull the trigger, sends it high and wide. Brown now battles for position in front of Bobrovsky, circling the net out there with Williams. Hands it to Williams. Tootin defending. Off the stick of Brown and played here by Dubinsky. Dubinsky with a pass. Chipped off the wall. Atkinson dumps it deep. He and Regier once more go into the corner. Puck thrown to the right wing boards, and Williams skates to center. His pass off the stick of the captain Brown, and the Kings will change up. Murray on for Matt Calvert. Calvert pressured. It's backhanded ahead by Mark Letestu.
It's good to see, Jeff, as their breakouts coming out of the zone. Timing is there. The puck on the tape. The execution has been perfect.
Carter dumps in. Bobrovsky chips it off the wall. Carter battles in front. The Kings trying to create all kinds of traffic in front of Bobrovsky this period. They certainly picked it up in the intensity department from what we saw in that opening period, and that was to be expected.
No, you want that. They've got that F3, that high forward down, helping out as close to the net as they can.
Here's McKenzie with Corey Trapp. McKenzie first across the line. Sends it around the boards, picked up on that left wing by Andrei Kopitar. In full stride, picks up Carter, drop pass, quick shot to Foley, denied. Second attempt, Bobrovsky off his back. Kopitar lets one fly. Bobrovsky out of position, he's lost his goal stick, but the Jackets have sent it over the glass up into the crowd, and they're going to get a delay of game penalty, and it might have been a beneficial one with Bobrovsky out of the net.
Number 18,
and no goal stick.
Well, it all comes about by the Jackets turning the puck in that offensive zone, and again, you can see the transition back the other way. Carter, the little drop pass, and then they get support from the defensive crew. And the guys on the ice right now, when you look at Carter, you look at Andrei Kopitar and Toffoli, guys that know something about goal scoring. And an excellent effort by the goaltender on that sequence, and a good penalty on behalf of the Jackets.
Kings are 0 for 2. Both penalty or power plays on Jacket penalties were abbreviated. They had 2 shots on the previous power play attempts. Voynov, one-timer there. Jackets block it, and Jack Johnson got in front of it. Jack Johnson out muscling Brown. Jackets have cleared. Dubinsky shorthanded, walks into the zone. Dubinsky already with 2 shorthanded goals. Follows it up. Another attempt. There's Dubinsky again, and the scramble around Jonathan Quick, who's able to keep it out of the net. Good hustle there by Dubinsky.
What a great effort by Quick to be able to keep them at a 1-0 game.
Long lead pass for Calvert. Quick out to play and tosses to the far side. Calvert gets to it. He's out there with Letestu. Great work here by Calvert. Jackets all over LA despite the power play and manpower advantage for the Kings.
It's less than 30 seconds and then off. Great job penalty killing. You're right, Jeff.
Doughty with a feed. Off the stick of McKenzie. Dump back into LA territory. Jackets have doubled up on the shot clock, 18-9. And this crowd not pleased with what they see from the Kings' perspective here. McKenzie the steal. Wasn't able to get it right back. Carter for Toffoli. Back for Carter. Kopitar drops it back. Stoll. Top of the circle. Wrist shot. Sails wide of the net on a ricochet. Less than 30 seconds left in the Kings power play.
Now, right now, when you get an opportunity to hit the net, the LA Kings have been unable to do so, to be able to keep that puck alive in that offensive zone.
Carter off a leg. Umberger, less than 10 seconds left in that delay of game penalty. Here's a shot. It goes off Bobrovsky, off the netting, and out of play. Jackets have certainly had the best chance here while they were a man short.
And who else was it? How about Brandon Dubinsky? He did not let up on that play. And then you have Anisimov following up. But both of them, they have the nose for the top of that crease. And you can see the 2 saves, 3 saves right there by goaltender Jonathan Quick to be able to keep this a 1-0 game.
Umberger standing at the penalty bench and walks out. Jackets 3 for 3 on the kill tonight. They have now killed off 40 of the last 48 opposition power plays. Jackets started the new year in 26th place on the penalty kill. As they started play tonight, they were 16th. Another attempt there, sails wide of the net. Bobrovsky. Left forward to Keaton. Less than 8 minutes remain in the second period. A scoreless second. If you joined us late, a power play goal by the Jackets early in that opening period by Jack Johnson. Right now, the difference in the hockey game. Voinov. On for Regeer. Back for Voinov. Their wires crossed. Jackets pressure. There's Calvert. Nolan. Down the right wing. Squeezed out along the wall. There's going to be a penalty. Another power play upcoming.
They'll call that interference.
Tootin's going to go to the box. When we come back, Kings go to the power play for the 4th time.
Jackets continue to lead here in Los Angeles, but going back on the penalty kill. Dan, you've been successful so far. What's been the secret behind that success?
I think it's been goaltending. I think they've had a couple good scoring chances, but we've kept them off the board because we've had pretty good net battles, and our goaltending's been great. We have to sharpen up a little bit, I think, in front of our net to quit giving them those easy chances, but Bob stood in there for us.
Kings have cranked up the intensity. You guys have responded pretty well. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, well, we knew it was going to be a battle tonight. It's always a war in here. That's their game. It's our game, too, so this is exactly what we expected.
Well, you wanted to be able to come in here and push the pace. The Jackets have been able to do that, but it's not without a fight, not with this hockey team.
2 minutes for interference.
Interference to call on Tootin. There's a shot. Bobrovsky makes the stop. LA 0 for 3 tonight on the power play. And on the just completed penalty kill previously, the Jackets actually outshot LA on the power play. LA had 3 shots. The Blue Jackets, shorthanded, had 4. Dubinsky credited with 3 with his great defensive effort.
Now 2 for their last 33 are the LA Kings. The Jackets have to continue to push it, though.
Puck sailing into Los Angeles territory. Doughty. Left for Voinov. Less than 7 minutes remaining here in the second period. Right side Kopitar trying to feed Carter. Mark Letestu First clearing attempt fails. Second one sends it to center.
It's a way to stay right with it. Again, don't turn away.
Kopitar. Carter. Toffoli. Back for Carter. Top of the circle. Voynov will let it fly, and it's deflected off Kopitar. Carter again. Voynov. Voynov takes it back from Doughty. Lets it go. Carter got a stick on it, but deflected it wide, and it sails all the way back to neutral ice.
They like that redirection play from that right point.
Kopitar. Pressured there by Anisimov. Fails to clear. Kopitar gets it back. On to Williams. Savard steps into him. Reaching forth there, Matt Calvert. It's tossed to the far side. Off the point. Doughty. Williams. 36 seconds left. Unable to keep it in was Muzzin. Pressure coming. Kings will walk it into the zone. Williams on here to Dustin Brown. Brown waits, fires. Saved by Bobrovsky, and he holds on.
Boy, does he look sharp. He really looks sharp. Under control from the drop of the puck tonight. In period number 1, he had to stay focused because the Jackets only gave up 2 total shots. But here in the second period, again, 3 power plays right now in this period for the LA Kings. But it's been all Bob, not only on that initial shot, but right there, he's able to control that rebound. That keeps your defense certainly honest.
From the faceoff. Williams trying to shovel it cross ice. Nikitin steps up and dumps it to center. Richard gets it to Williams. Williams pulls up on that half wall. Throw to the point. Stoll with a shot. Jackets block that. Umberger ahead here for Dubinsky. Dubinsky trying to walk in. Does. Dubinsky shorthanded. Denied.
Well, I'll tell you what, he spent a lot of time working to try to get open, and then he does something with it.
Great penalty killing effort once again by Dubinsky. Jackets back at full strength. R.J. Umberger. Back here for Nikitin.
Heads up! Heads up!
Wisniewski deals to the right wing for Umberger. Foligno in pursuit. Dubinsky gets a well-deserved rest. Back-to-back penalty kills. Dubinsky with quality scoring chances for the Blue Jackets.
You have a lot of guys on that bench that have been waiting to play. Now it's back to 5-on-5. Watch that third and fourth line.
Here's Foligno. Offside. As we go to break, Jackets with that quality scoring chance. Because of the hustle of Dubinsky, Quick making a solid stop. Thing to look at the respective coaches. Todd Richards, Daryl Sutter. Sutter coming on less than 2 years ago and led the Kings to a Stanley Cup victory. Todd Richards done an outstanding job with his young hockey club, but there's concern on his face right now because Ryan Murray, after taking an additional shift after that hit by Dustin Brown and the subsequent minor penalty, has gone down the runway and back to the Blue Jackets dressing room. We'll attempt to get an update on his condition, but there's no doubt the head was targeted, and Dustin Brown received only a minor, but not only did he hit Murray with the elbow, but left his feet in doing so.
It was almost like a projectile when you see a guy hit like that. Well, nightly on Fox Sports Live, Jay Onrait and Dan O'Toole, they bring you all the scores, all the news, and all of the highlights you're ever going to need. Don't miss Fox Sports Live, nightly at 11 on Fox Sports 1. Now, to find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com right now.
Carter set for this face-off against Johansson, who wins it cleanly. Johansson has been dominant in the face-off circle tonight. And here, carries in. Oh, did he ever walk around Mitchell? Tried to center it there for Boone Jenner. Jenner hustled to that puck nonetheless. Thrown back into the corner. Ryan Johansson continues to impress with each passing game.
Well, what Todd Richards said today, we have a very confident group right now. At the other table, other side of the coin, and the other side of the bench, when you look at Sutter, he's got some guys right now that are frustrated. And that confidence begins to ride. When you see moves like that, you're playing some pretty solid hockey. Ryan Johansson creating his own space, starting to get hard on himself, and what you'd like to be able to see but you know that next shift out, he's not going to hang the head. The head will be up, the chin will be up, and he'll be right back at it.
That move was on a veteran defenseman by the name of Mitchell. And boy, he walked inside him, turned him around like a turnstile. 3:42 left. Foligno. Nikitin, cross ice. Keaton gets it back from Savard, looks to the left wing for Anisimov. Foligno up high, looking to extend his goal-scoring streak. 3 goals in the last 2 games. This one sails off the netting and out of play.
For college and high school students, enjoy a night out and experience Blue Jackets hockey with CBJ Student Rush tickets presented by Papa John's. Tickets start at just $15, and each ticket will include a free offer from Papa John's. So go to bluejackets.com/rush for complete details.
Richards wins the draw. Regier paired here with Voynov. Voynov will sweep it up the right wing boards. Nikitin attempted to keep it in. Now finishing a check there on Williams as Dubinsky clears a backhand pass to center. Regier off the wall. Savard, Nikitin. Atkinson lets one fly top of the circle. Quick makes the stop. Dubinsky goes crashing into the netminder. But play had been called.
Well, let's take a look at the Jackets through the neutral zone. And where does it start? How about tape to tape? Straight up the ice. Cross seam pass through the neutral zone. Then you get a scoring opportunity, hoping maybe that Jonathan Quick would give up a little bit of a rebound. A great job by the Jackets, not only making passes, but then finding their way to the top of the crease. That key tonight. Net front presence may be there. Quick, though, starting to get his game under control.
Wisniewski, a shot blocked. Kings move up ice. Nolan drilled there by McKenzie. Tootin scoops up the loose puck in the corner. Pressure coming. Nolan trying to fish that puck free. Tootin doing his best to protect it. Going back to Stoll up high. And it sails all the way back into LA territory.
A great job by Tootin defensively. Had a lot of pressure on top of him. He squared up and was able to help.
Ooh, hard hit there. Muzzin on Corey Trop. King takes a hit from McKenzie. Boone Jenner trying to fight off the check of Muzzin. Stoll unable to get a stick on it. Horton on to Johansson, back for Horton, had his stick raised, and away goes King. King for Nolan. And this one off his stick and up into the crowd.
Well, our Blue Jackets team of reporters from FoxSportsOhio.com will be there every Wednesday during the Olympic break, talking about all things Blue Jackets and the biggest news items from around the hockey world and on your weekly Rinkside Chat. Log on every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on FoxSportsOhio.com and join in on the Hockey Talk.
Jackets down to 5 defensemen. As we mentioned, Ryan Murray has left for the Blue Jackets dressing room, so a lot of mixing and matching among the blue liners. It's Savard and Jack Johnson now paired. Horton takes the pass at center. Dumps in, Quick out to make the play. Throws it up the right wing boards. Fratton trying to dance away from Jenner. Lewis. Jenner trails. Left wing. Shot from a sharp angle. Blocked off the stick of Clifford. Clifford again. That one went off the leg of the official O'Rourke. Jack Johnson hits it ahead, and it's chopped by Jenner to the line, but not out. David Savard camped behind Bobrovsky. Little more than a minute left here in the second. Horton just steers it into LA territory. The Jackets will get some fresh legs on.
Well, we've got a minute to go. Good smart shifts. Keep the pucks out of the pads of the LA Kings. Be smart with that puck.
R.J. Umberger unable to cradle that puck along the left wing boards. It's Voynov sending it across ice for Regier. Andrei Kopitar drops it back for Voynov. Voynov, Regier, on to Carter and across the line. Carter throws it behind the net. Tootin defends up against Kopitar. Jackets chip ahead, and there Artem Anisimov sends to center. Knocked down by Voynov. Carter quickly feeds to Foley. Across the line to Foley. Right-handed shot on the left wing. And it sails wide of the net. Nick Foligno looking cross ice. Umberger steps up. Hit there along the boards. Jackets Nikitin on for two. Left wing feed, and it's Foligno dumping in. Jonathan Quick. Left for Voynov. Richards through the neutral zone. Lumbers in. Looks for Dustin Brown as the horn goes to end the second period. Jackets duplicate their first period with 10 shots on goal. As for the LA Kings, they had 11 for a two-period total of 13. A scoreless second. Jackets remain in front, 1-0. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. By Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. And by 5 Hour Energy. Helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. Set for third period play. Teams have returned to the ice. And the Blue Jackets will start a defensive pairing of Fedor Tutin and James Wisniewski. Again, if you've joined us late and remain up with us late, Jackets in that second period lost the services of Ryan Murray after he took a high hit and an elbow from the Kings captain, Dustin Brown. How about the AEP power play summary, Bill?
Well, again, the Jackets got a chance right away to start this hockey game. It was 1:40 in when Jack Johnson scored his fourth. It was 10-2 shots on goal at the end of period number one, 20-13 at the end of 2 periods of play. And right now, the Jackets, well, they think of 20 minutes of hard work to try and get out of Staples Center with a victory.
From the face-off, Umberger with a pass, Brown reaching for it. Wisniewski holds him off. Wisniewski, step to the line. Mitchell trying to shovel out of the zone. There's Brown. Into Jackets territory. Wisniewski will play it. Two. Long left wing feed there for Calvert. Can't get a stick on it. Carter in pursuit. Jackets will clear the zone with a feed for Dubinsky. Atkinson scoots to the net. Dubinsky trying to fight off the check of Regier. Voynov in the corner. Calvert all over him with some help from Atkinson. They attempt to dig that puck free. Kopitar defending as well. Battle ensues along the wall. That's Toffoli. Gets it to Kopitar with Carter. 2-on-2. Dubinsky coming back to help out the defense. Kopitar up high, trying to walk around Savard. Jack Johnson there settles things down, and it is Dubinsky with the clearing pass lifted up and out.
Now, good back pressure there by Dubinsky to help out his defensive core. You see that little drop pass. That can create a lot of havoc in that offensive zone.
Lead pass for Jared Stoll. Knocked away. Up high. Nolan on for King. Thrown to the point. Green now will let one fly through a crowd. It's off a leg. Jenner hands here to Johansson. Ryan Johansson with Jenner and Horton. Thrown into the corner. Jackets attempt to play it. Kings walk out of the zone. Good news, as we've just seen, Ryan Murray come down the runway and has returned to the Jackets bench. David Savard, and there he is right there.
Well, it's great just to have him on the bench and follow his progress, and to be able to have him back there in the defensive core, that poise, that patience certainly needed at this time of game.
Across the line, Lewis. Jackets steer it away. Another penalty upcoming. Well, with Murray coming back, one more look at that hit here. You make the call at home as Brown leaves his feet. But we'll get one more look at it here. and watch what happens after the hit. See that bounce? His head hits the ice and bounces off the ice. He went back into the quiet room, as they call it, and obviously after the doctors cleared him, he's able to return. You just saw him nod his head. He's all right, and that's good to see.
That is great to see for the 20-year-old.
Columbus penalty, team number 6, Nikita, 2 minutes for hooking.
In front, goal-mouth pass. So the Kings on the power play for the 5th time tonight. 2:25. Nikitin for hooking. LA on the power play. But not for long. Voinov is going off for tripping. So for the 3rd time tonight, the Kings power play is nullified by a penalty.
Well, it's exactly what the Jackets were hoping for. You can see, again, a good job by McKenzie. Beats Voinov to the puck. Voinov pinching in that offensive zone, knowing that you're on the power play, trying to create a little bit of offense, down a goal. And it comes back to Hunt.
At 2:40.
Four on four. Tootin, Jack Johnson on the points. But right now, Tootin is up for that face-off. Dubinsky has Jack Johnson right where he wants him. Lets one fly. That's right off the pad. Quick reflexes by the goaltender by that same name, Jonathan Quick. How do you get that nickname?
He is something special. I'll tell you what, 2 years at the University of Massachusetts Lowell. LA Kings do what they had in their young goaltender.
Kopitar pulls up. Throw it in front. A shot.
And what the Jackets did through the first 2 periods, they made some great passes. The LA Kings did the same thing coming out of their own zone. And then when they curl up, you'll find everybody just taking a look over top of their shoulder. They're watching the puck carrier, and Jake Muzzin moves in from that left point position and just tips it through the 5-hole of goaltender Bobrovsky to tie this game at 1.
Muzzin's 4th goal. And just like that, the Kings have tied it up.
He scored for the season. Score by number 6.
We continue 4 on 4. Green on for Mitchell.
Number 8, Drew Doughty.
This is Green on to Richards. Richards steps to center, looks at Williams on that right side. Murray defends as the puck slides just by the net. Muzzin from Kopitar and Doughty. A 1-1 tie here in the early minutes of period number 3. Doughty threw it across the line. Getting a stick on Doughty to haul him down, and Johansson will head to the box.
Well, the Jackets tonight, it has been penalty-ridden, and it has been Bobrovsky that has been the star in the net. And you'll take a look right now, that long reach. Look at how wide Johansson's legs are. You've got to keep the legs moving. You've got to stay pace as they begin to move up ice. Once you plant those feet and you start extending the stick, well, good things are certainly not going to happen.
Four on 3. Kings with the advantage.
Columbus penalty, team number 19, Ryan Johansson. 2 minutes for tripping. Time of the penalty, 4 minutes.
4 minutes, the time of the tripping penalty. Nikitin looking at 12 seconds remaining in his call. Then we continue 4 on 4 before the Kings will end up with a power play, providing there are no more penalties. Kopitar on for Doughty. Out steps Nikitin. Teams now 4-side. Muzzin, who had the goal, on to Kopitar. Kopitar walks into the zone, throws it back. Doughty, Muzzin. Up high, Kopitar fires it high and wide. Takes a wicked bounce off that glass. Voinov steps out. Power play once more on LA's side. And the crowd's in it here. Jackets. Jared Bull on for two. Lifted high and out. Carter dropping it back. Doughty. Kings 6 power play. They are 0 for 5 tonight. Jackets looking at another 40 seconds of a penalty kill. Dubinsky, who has been superb on the kill here tonight with a couple of quality scoring chances.
Yeah, good quality stick. Again, good feet. Square to the opposition. They're keeping the puck ahead of them.
James Wisniewski hard off the wall and back into LA territory where Voynov will lead the rush up ice. 12 seconds remain. Brown on for Richards. Mike Richards for Willie Mitchell. Johansson standing at the penalty bench. 1 second left. He steps out. Jackets back at full strength, and the puck just glanced off that pipe. Jackets 6 for 6 on the kill. Now McKenzie carries in. McKenzie slips and falls, looking to pull the trigger there. Johansson. First of the forecheck out there with Foligno and Horton. Clearing pass picked up here by Nolan. Nolan drops it back. Regier. Off the wall. King looking for Stoll. Carried in by Nolan after it was knocked down with a high stick. And that gets the whistle, and we will step aside. 13:23 left in the third. Tied at 1. Now, here's tonight's AT&T Rewind. For that, we head to New York, where the Rangers trail 1-0 in the second period as they host Edmonton.
I'll tell you what, the Jackets catch a break tonight because the Edmonton Oilers played some solid hockey. But there's a look. It was 1-0. Derek Brassard ties it with his 11th. Makes it a 1-1 game 22 seconds into that second period. And then you get a chance to watch Neil Yakupov. He scores his 11th. That is the game-winning goal.
Nikitin on to Matt Calvert. Calvert across the line. Calvert trying to weave through the traffic. Kings defend, but it is Dubinsky now walking out. Dubinsky lost the puck as it rolled off his stick. Clifford reverses on to Matt Fratton. Can't clear the zone. Regier. Long stretch pass there. It goes out of play, and we get a whistle.
Well, after every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game, talks to the players and the coaches on Blue Jackets Live, presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and electricity costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com.
Nick Foligno, who comes into tonight's game riding a 2-game goal-scoring streak. He's on a pace for career best 20-plus goals.
I'd like to see him get involved here again tonight, Jeff. 2 points away from point total 200.
Icing the call. And here's our Ford game summary.
Well, you go back, it's a power play goal at 140 of period number 1. Johansson, Wisniewski, they collect assists. Johnson finds the back of the net. Then Muzzin. He was a little over 3 minutes into this third period. Nice play backdoor. As Kopitar pulls up. Doughty collects the other assist to make it a 1-1 game.
Carter, quick shot off the shoulder. Bobrovsky will cover up.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has one of the quickest releases in the game, and he disguises it so well. Again, the Jackets just reaching for pucks, reaching for pucks, and the end result, Carter comes up with it in that slot area, but Bobrovsky, certainly he accepts that challenge and does a nice job of being able to make the save and hang on to that rebound.
Kopitar, Johansson, who wins another draw. Jackets better than 90% in faceoffs tonight. Horton drops a pass for Johansson. Right back to Horton. Horton trying to split the defense and walk in. Fights off Doughty. Doughty with a hard hit along the boards. Loose puck played. There's Carter. Jackets, Bobrovsky. Jack Johnson sent off the boards. Bouncing puck in the zone. Knocked down. Johansson able to play it. Horton looked for that return feed. Meantime, Carter the other way on for Toffoli. Good defensive play there by Johansson to knock it free.
Yeah, great back pressure again. They drop it off. Toffoli tries to load it up. And Johansson's good anticipation, able to disrupt that play.
Jack Johnson settles things down. Hangs on, throws it up the middle. Off Corey Trop. McKenzie will drop it back to the point. Jackets chip it off the wall. Knocked down there was Corey Trop. Takes an extra shove from Muzzin. Bouncing puck to the far side. Jack Johnson will chip it ahead and head off.
Now, this is where this third period, this fourth line can get things going. They need the energy. They got to get the puck back into that offensive zone and get back to work again below the goal line.
Lechestu out of the corner, flips a backhand. The quick hug that near post made the stop. Wisniewski, Murray paired on the points. Bouncing puck behind the net now. Green, pressure. Jackets come up with it. McKenzie back here for Trop. Letestu, Wisniewski looking for that backdoor play. Now retreats as Williams takes the clearing pass and walks it to center before shoveling it deep into Jackets territory.
That's the shift that they're looking for right now. That's just really starts the energy now. They've got to follow suit with that Dubinsky line.
Calvert unable to cradle it up on that left wing. King back. Dubinsky steps into him. Boynod. On for Nolan. Nolan pressured there by Dubinsky. Gets a second opportunity to make the play and finds King on the right wing. Ryan Murray steps up, tried to play that puck. It comes all the way to the goal, and play has been whistled down with 10:14 left. How about tonight's Ohio Health great save?
Well, let's go back to that second period. We showed that between periods, that beautiful pad save by Bobrovsky. Justin Williams tried to just jam it in, and then watch the help from his defense. Watch the position into the puck. It is on the skate near the post, but look at defensively, the Jackets. They mount certainly a pile of layers and unable to get to the net for the Kings.
From the faceoff, Clifford. Eldon check along the wall by Nikitin. Those two continue to battle. Anisimov reaching in for it. Fratton had it briefly. Got knocked off the puck there by Nikitin. Jackets with a clearing pass, and it's on to R.J. Umberger. Umberger chips it off the board. Umberger hustles after it. Takes a hit there from Fratton. Gets right back up. Lewis can't cradle the puck, and it'll be played here behind the net by Doughty. Drew Doughty. Right side for Fratton. Dumps in and then races off to the bench. Less than 10 minutes remaining, third period regulation time. Horton. The walk out of the zone. On to the right wing there for David Savard. Savard jumps in. Green gets to it first. Pressure coming from Jenner. Jenner keeps the feet moving. Kopitar unable to play that puck. Jenner. Kopitar. Green reaching for it. Hit there by Jenner. Horton on that far side. Ward battles ensue. Green pressured. Jackets double team the LA defenseman. Carter will slap it off the wall. Nice save at the line there by the Jackets. Two. On to Johansson. Ahead here for Jenner. Trop off the bench. Jenner trying to protect that puck. Kopitar for LA. Jenner late in the shift. Heads off to the bench as the Kings gain the territorial advantage here in Columbus territory. A delayed call. It will be against Los Angeles. Bobrovsky just aware of that now. Heads off to the bench. Jackets are 1 for 4 on the power play tonight and will have their 5th manpower advantage here right now. Here in Los Angeles, teams are tied. The Jackets about to go on the power play with a high sticking call against Toffoli. This is his second offensive zone penalty tonight.
Well, you take a look at him, and coming into this game, he'd only had 3 minor penalties, but he goes in, look at the stick, up into the facial area of Jack Johnson. That's an automatic call. And now the Jackets have an opportunity. Their power play has been hot. The lone goal tonight on that power play back in period number 1.
And that was Toffoli who went off with the hooking call at 1:04. It took the Jackets 36 seconds to find the back of the net. They tied it up, and here with an opportunity after that Kings goal by Muzzin
Los Angeles penalty to number 73.
to regain the lead.
2 minutes for high sticking. Time of penalty 11:42.
11:42, high sticking against Toffoli.
11:42.
Atkinson takes the pass. Here is Dubinsky. Matt Calvert sets the screen in front. Jack Johnson, one-timer there by Wisniewski, and it ricochets off a stick and wide. Dubinsky. And then play called. Blue Jackets right back in action tomorrow night from San Jose. The Jackets conclude the pre-Olympic portion of their schedule against the Sharks Hockey Club. At the Shark Tank, our coverage will begin at 10 o'clock with Blue Jackets live pregame, and of course the opening face-off at 10:30.
I know Coach McClellan not very happy with his hockey team right now. Says this team needs to get back to work.
Carter dumps it behind the net, played there by James Wisniewski. Continues to be paired here with Jack Johnson, Letestu, Foligno, and R.J. Umberger up front. Jackets power play down to 1:20. Thrown to the point for Wisniewski. And this one fired up out of the bench and went off a Kings player, so it'll be a face-off in the Kings' end.
Well, the one thing right now, the LA Kings, they know exactly where the Jackets are going. They like to be able to cross-ice that pass. Backside to Wisniewski with a one-timer. And Richards, they're putting pressure on Wisniewski right away. Carter was out there with Richards. They make a line change. Kopitar back out on the ice right now.
And he's 2 for 10 in the face-off circle. And not even taking the draw, was Stoll taking it. He was one better at 3 for 10. And the Jackets again called here, and they'll move that face-off back into Columbus territory.
When you talk about goaltenders being your best players on the ice on given nights, especially penalty kill in this game tonight, Jack Johnson has had another outstanding night. Around the puck, being physical. Again, he's a little quarterback, being able to dish that puck off to Wisniewski for the one-timer. And then tonight, finds the back of the net in his own.
1:13 left of the Jackets power play. This is Anisimov. Right back for Jack Johnson. Johnson leads a rush up ice, finds Johansson. Quick, unable to trap it behind that net. Puck rolls on in. Jackets fail to keep it in. Puck turned over. Kopitar had it knocked away. Johansson. Horton goes to the net. Cross-ice pass for Jack Johnson. Johnson drops it for Horton. Pressured, shovels to the corner. Johnson right back on it. Mitchell in pursuit. Johansson gets to it. Up high Wisniewski. Cross-ice, Jack Johnson settles it down. 30 seconds left in the power play. Anisimov in the slot. Green on that hard play off the wall. Kings change up the kill. Jackets will try again. Drop pass there for Wisniewski. On to Jack Johnson. Horton sets the screen in front. Wisniewski. Johansson in the slot. Redirected by Dubinsky, but wide. Dubinsky right back on it for Johansson. Final seconds ticking off in that penalty, and Wisniewski unable to make the play anymore. Toffoli steps out. Back at full strength for the Kings, and the Jackets will settle things down.
Wisniewski needs a change.
Out there for the entire power play. James Wisniewski gets the well-deserved rest as he makes his way over to the bench. Dubinsky along the wall. Kings clear. Williams. Richards with Dustin Brown, and the puck ripped wide of the net off that lively backboard. Kings will play it back to the point. Regeer unable to keep it in. Mike Richards drops it back for Regeer. Left wing, Williams. Can't make a play. This is Foligno. Foligno drops a pass for Letestu. Kick save and a beauty there by Quick from point-blank range with that right pad. Mark Letestu. On for Foligno. R.J. Umberger in full flight. Foligno looking for it. Fratton able to tip it by Tootin. Fires from the left wing, but it's off the mark. And Tootin will carry up ice for the Jackets. Feder Tootin at the line. Hit there by Green. Sends it in deep. Foligno tried to throw it in front. Wisniewski floats one in. Horton was capped in front. Foligno dropping it back. Murray under control. King coming. Murray calmly steps away. Boone Jenner coming back to help out. Wisniewski is pressured. Shoveled to the corner by Stoll. Stoll now trying to dance free. Gets it back. And the shot fired over top of the net on the deflection and out of play. Jackets with their best quality chance here moments ago. But Quick with an outstanding stop off the pad on the shot by Letestu.
Feder Tootin, Dustin Brown, they'll rivals now tonight. Rivals next week when they represent their countries, of course. Dustin Brown with the United States and Toots, of course, with Russia. Teammates with the old Guelph Storm back in 2001, 2002. Brown led his team that year with 41 goals. Tootin, fourth in the team in scoring with 59 points. But next week they will battle hard to bring medals back to the respected countries.
Well, Tootin's defensive partner, Jack Johnson. Johnson, to this point in time, with 4:17 left, has played better than 27 minutes of ice time. Johansson now 13-1 in the faceoff circle after winning that draw. Letestu sends it by Doughty. Walks in and misses the mark. He was looking far corner. Didn't miss by much.
Well, he let that go in stride as well, and he tried to catch Quick on that glove side. But this is where good active sticks. In your own defensive zone, they come in handy. And it starts right there with good pressure by Johansson. And then Letestu head up, takes a look to see it Quick, and he lets it go in stride, just missing that glove side. Beautiful job there by Letestu. Boy, it would have been fitting for him to be able to come in and score that GWG.
Face-off to Quick's left. From the face-off. Kick behind the net. Doughty. Carter. Kopitar. Chopped right up onto that LA bench. And that will enable us to check out tonight's Big Lots Big Play.
Tyler Toffoli into the penalty box at this time in 1:40 in period number 1 power play goal. Ryan Johansson continues to put up the numbers. He collects an assist, as does James Wisniewski. That made it a 1-0 game. Currently all tied up.
Now the officials are now conferring to discuss where exactly the faceoff should be. And after a huddle, determination has been made. They're going to make the face-off just on that dot outside LA territory.
Good conversation between Jay Shears and Johnny Murray, the linesman tonight. Good communication amongst them all.
Left wing at center. Toffoli trying to fish that puck free. Jack Johnson chops it away. Mitchell on for Doughty. Cross ice. Toffoli hammers in. High off the glass. Tootin defends. Carter is bumped. Kopitar for Carter. Dubinsky now. Stepping away from Kopitar. Jack Johnson under control. Will look to the left wing boards. Unable to cradle that puck there was Calvert. He and Atkinson head off, as does Dubinsky. Fresh legs come on. The Anisimov line with Foligno and R.J. Umberger. Cross ice pass. Umberger attempting to play that puck at center ice. Backhands in. Quick will leave it there for Voynov. Foligno on the turnover. Two Jackets collide. Anisimov and Umberger, and Anisimov slow to get up, and he's heading right to the bench. Ryan Murray. Anisimov takes a hit, and then takes to the bench, and now sits.
He took it hard. And, again, one of the defenders between them, the LA Kings, but both of them came hard together. Let's just hope that Anisimov's going to be okay.
Kings sent it the length of the ice. We get icing.
Now let's take a look at that hit. And again, it really came out of nowhere. He's on backtracking. And there you can see Umberger, he had the nose. He was going after that puck. And Anisimov was curling back the other way. That was all of the force of Umberger. He hit Anisimov. They both went down. Anisimov, he's worse to wear.
I just told Mike Vogt that he's okay. We'll see him for his next shift. Horton with the steal, tried to feed Johansson. Less than 3 minutes remain in regulation. Tied at 1. Here's Johansson across the line. Johansson stood up there by Muzzin. A goal scorer for Los Angeles here early in the third period. Answering the power play goal by the Jackets in the first. Lewis pulls up, steers to the corner. Puck flipped behind the net. Boone Jenner and Clifford. Loose puck, Savard. David Savard for Nathan Horton. 90 seconds remain. Horton knocked down, gets back up. Far side of the ice, reaching for it. There is Johansson for the right wing boards. It's thrown to Mitchell. Mitchell lets one fly. That's wide of the net. Jackets have to clear the puck here. Clifford and Jenner collide, and it's Horton stepping to center and just chips it off the boards and will head off.
Well, you got to get some energy right now. We look at the clock. You got a minute to go in this hockey game. You got to be solid defensively. Also, get skating. Get the legs back under you.
Last minute of play in the third period.
Final minute in regulation. Voynov. On to Regeer. Off the skate of Kopitar. Hustling to it. Cam Atkinson. The shot turned aside. Another attempt off the paddle of Quick. Jackets Dubinsky trying to hold off Carter. Less than a minute to go. Seconds ticking off. It went off the skate of the official. Jackets try to send that puck towards the net. Dan O'Rourke standing right there at the side. And some homework having to be done in front of that net by Quick himself. Final 20 seconds. The puck was gloved ahead, and we get a whistle with 16 seconds remaining.
Well, how about that work by that line? That's exactly what they were looking for in that last minute of play, led by Dubinsky. They had the nose. They were hunting. They wanted to be able to make something happen. Atkinson had a chance. Calvert had a chance coming from below the goal line, but it was the legs and the checking of Dubinsky to make that happen.
Artem Anisimov will take this face-off outside the zone. 16 ticks of the clock remain. James Wisniewski. Off the wall, Anisimov. Umberger upended. Kings move into the zone. Nolan trying to squeeze through along the wall. Wisniewski will play it out, and that'll do it. The two teams will each pick up a point, and now 5 minutes of 4-on-4 to determine a winner prior to going to a shootout. We'll be back. Now look at the respective coaches behind their benches. Todd Richards on the left. Daryl Sutter the right. Team's records in overtime. Blue Jackets 5-4. The Kings are 9-6. How did we get here, Bill?
Yeah, go back to period number 1 for the Jackets. Again, just early in that period, 1:40 was the time. Look at this pass by Johansson backside to Johnson, who lets that wrist shot go to beat Jonathan Quick. And then to start period number 3, 4-on-4 hockey. Nice play by Kopitar. He pulls up. And again, the Jackets do a little puck watching. Muzzin comes in from that left point position and tips it, guides it through the 5-hole of Sergei Bobrovsky. Todd Richards talks about his hockey team right now of being one that is a confident group. And the one thing that is contagious is they are working hard, and it goes from line 1 all the way through to the 4th line. You get good goaltending. Your penalty kill has been better. Your power play is going. And you put those things together, you're going to get points. And that's what the Jackets have done tonight. They've got a point. When you go on the road, you want that extra point, no question about it.
You can just tell how difficult that third period was. Tight checking, a lot of board battles. Each team limited to 5 shots on goal. Jackets with a 25-18 edge as we begin overtime.
One of the most dangerous guys is 77 in the black, as everybody knows.
Foligno walks into the zone, and it's on to R.J. Umberger. Umberger rims it around the wall. Jack Johnson, whose power play goal, got the Jackets on the board early in this one. Mitchell reversing, looking for Carter. Tooten steps up. Backing him up was Foligno, but he ripped it wide. Jack Johnson. Mitchell dumps to the far side. Doughty in pursuit, gets there ahead of Foligno. Mitchell, left wing pass for Richards. Can't clear the zone. Foligno knocks it out of the air. Stick was below his shoulder, so play allowed to continue. Jackets continue to control.
Both teams now looking at making a quick line change. You get 40 seconds and off.
Matt Calvert out there with Ryan Johansson. Jack Johnson cruising deep in the zone. He's paired with Wisniewski. Kings come out of the end. Voinov hangs on, shows patience. Voinov. Poke check there by Wisniewski, who finishes the check. Kopitar for Williams. Capped in front is Voinov. Williams out. One-timer by Voinov, and Wisniewski blocked that with the right skate. Williams. Kopitar. Andrei Kopitar up high, drops it back. Regeer looking for Green, who steps up. Williams. Regeer, shot blocked off the leg again of Wisniewski, and he can't believe it. Twice he blocked shots with his skates, and he is in some difficulty here.
Boy, is he ever. He took it off that same foot, same area, and that is excruciating. As many pucks as this guy has taken in that ankle, toe, shin, back of the leg area, boy, I tell you what, he continues to come out and battle. He is in some pain.
On that one shift, he blocked 2 shots off that same skate. Draw one by Stoll. Doughty lets it fly off the glove of Bobrovsky. Less than 3.5 left. Nikitin trying to out-battle Brown. Jackets send it up the right wing boards. That's Atkinson. He's got Dubinsky with him. Atkinson pulls up, looks for Dubinsky. Dubinsky now drops a pass for Nikitin. Traffic in front of Quick. Redirected by Brown, who came back to help out the defense, and Doughty saucers a pass here for Stoll. On goes Muzzin, the goal scorer for the Kings in the third. Dustin Brown. Brown is pressured. Out of the zone, flips it back. Brad Richards, right side for Carter. Excuse me, Mike Richards. My apologies. Richards. Regeer lets it fly. Goal.
Robin Regeer doesn't score a lot of goals, but I'll tell you what, the screen set in front of him by Carter, and Bobrovsky never had a chance. That was a picture-perfect shot. You're going to be able to see it right here as the shot is being taken. You see again Savard trying to get Carter out of the way, and in the meantime, watch the puck go back the other way as it goes inside the post on that glove side. A perfect shot to beat the Jackets.
So Robin Regeer with his second goal of the season.